The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Geico presents Motorcycle Word of the Day. Today's word is gremlin. Is a gremlin an unknown and persistent mechanical issue? Or is it something large that gets caught in your teeth when you ride with your mouth open? As in,
man, I gotta stop singing 80s power ballads when I ride. Ugh, keep getting gremlins in my teeth. See?
Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
This is your new home speaking. I know you haven't moved in yet, but I need some favors. Could you dust the blinds? The dust makes me feel dusty. Also, we could save a lot of money if you bundled your home and car insurance with Geico. It's super easy to do online or over the phone. Last favor, when you move in, could you stick to one aesthetic? The last owner had a weird mix of floral wallpaper and nautical tchotchkes, and I can't have another identity crisis.
Geico. For bundling made easy, go to geico.com today.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthma Core Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
you have smoked yourself retarded.
Here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
All right. 420's in like less than 2 weeks. I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron.
That's all I could come up with when I looked at the date during the intro. But yeah, 2 weeks from yesterday, I think it's going to be what? How many years? 7 years? Damn. What? I wonder how much weed.
Oh, that's right.
I wonder how much weed we've
our
smoked.
anniversary.
I wonder how much
over 7 years.
How much pot has been cumulative just on the show? Now, us as people, that's a whole different conversation. But just on the show, what if we added it up? I know we stopped talking strains like a couple of years ago because we were starting to do repeats. We managed to get, I think, like 5 years of featuring a strain every week.
Right. We had quite the stretch going, but it also started to just become totally abstract.
Yeah.
Right. It lost its meaning. Like, you know, these identifiers and these strain. I mean, it's worse than talking about audio gear.
And also, right? I also kind of realized I started just reading them every week. A lot of them it's all subjective. Maybe this is what you're feeling. Maybe this is what someone else is feeling. Like
Amen. Talking about weed is like dancing about architecture. It just doesn't make sense. You got to experience it, man.
Yeah, man. I just view it as like with those strain reviews, it's the same as like someone reviewing an album or a movie or a TV show. It's that person's opinion of how do I know the color blue? Is this color blue to you, man?
Right, but you're also like, sure, there's subjective opinion and there's different strains are going to react differently with different people, different bodies.
They're different. Your chemistry's different, I guess is what
Have you ever read a review of a strain that was like, this stuff is bug, it didn't work?
Oh, no. But we've definitely...
it's just not an option.
We've read reviews where we're like, well, I'm not getting that, but okay. We've had that.
I suppose, yeah.
We've had where it's like, yeah, you're supposed to be like, you know...
But did we ever tie it to the experience that we had smoking it?
Sort of.
You know?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we did, like I said, where it's supposed to do this, and either you or I or maybe both have been like, well, it's not happening here. I'm getting a different kind of high, but... Like, no, we've never been like, I'm not high. But it's been like, hey, it's supposed to make you, like, this weed's not supposed to make you paranoid. And you or I have been like, well, I'm paranoid as fuck. So this shit's, don't know what they're, we used to review strains, and now we don't. Because it's been almost 7 years.
And I don't know, I think there's just more interesting conversations that we can have than being obsessed. Because I've never been obsessed about strains, you know, I trust, I get stuff from a good source, and I trust that it's good. Right?
Yeah, even when I had a weed man. Yeah, same thing with the dispensary. Not just worried about, is it good?
Yeah.
Is this good shit? Our dispensary, I tell them the same thing every time. I want a hybrid cartridge, and I want your highest percentage.
If I had a choice, sometimes I would just be like, hey, chef choice. Or if I was feeling magnanimous, whatever it is harder for you to unload. Give me that, because I'm just not picky.
Hey, speaking of dispensaries,
Yeah.
My dispensary has now added fucking rec. Jesus Christ. Now I got to find a new spot.
Oh, it blew up now because they're slumming it with these fucking... Anyone can get fucking wrecked.
I don't care if you're slumming it. Now it's just... I liked it because I could get in and get out.
People shitting on your executive toilet.
No, I liked it because I could get in and out. I swear, my visit, I went on Tuesday. I waited for at least a half an hour. Just sat there waiting to go in.
Yep.
It's like, son of a bitch. Which, by the way, too, there were people that had gone in there 10 to 15 minutes before me, still in there when I made my purchase, and I left. I'm sitting there thinking, like, what? Do you not have a smartphone? Is this your first time? Why is it taking you 20 fucking minutes to figure out what you want to buy? There's not that much shit in here.
Sure. But for some people, maybe it's just an experience.
You can't taste test. It's not like it used to be when you could go to a vape store and be like, let me try this juice. Nope. Let me try this juice. Nope. You can't do that in weed store. I just didn't understand what's taking 20 minutes. You want flour? No. You want concentrates? You want flour, concentrates, or the other kind of concentrates or edibles?
It might not be somebody's first time, but it might be their fifth time, right? And we were just talking about how ambiguous and ultimately meaningless strain reviews are, and knowing that you can't taste test any of these products, then it's a process for some people to figure out what really works for them. Maybe this is somebody who hadn't smoked in decades. When they were a kid, they would smoke weed. They tried some recently, didn't really agree with them, but they kind of like some of the after effects. Maybe they have to go and actually talk to somebody. And, hey, I tried some of these edibles. And they're like, well, if you didn't like that, maybe try it this way. And, for you and I, we know what we want. We're not really having a conversation that much with, hey, how's it going? Business good. All right. See you later. We don't need to rap about strains, but I mean, this is part of legalization and bringing it to the masses, is doing it in a more Starbucks-like environment where people are almost encouraged to hang out and rap with their barista a little bit and try some new strains. Hey, last time I was here, it'd be nice if we could have bars like this where we could consume in public, and they could even have like a symbiotic relationship with dispensaries. People can go try out strains at a local bar and then go, hey, I liked that Blue Dream. Let me go get some of that at this dispensary.
Not to shit on both of our points at once, but they were medical customers. That's the other thing. I was like, you got a card? Come on, man. I should the lobby was full, and there were people I was just more like, God damn it, I just found a spot. It was right off 696, and it was, a long visit was 10 minutes. Like, get in, get out, and now I got to find another goddamn spot. But hooray for capitalism. I was telling because the girl at the counter was like, oh, it's been nuts. Like, we'll have more people in here soon. It won't be this, won't be like this. Well, I was like, yeah, but on the other hand, it's got to be good for business. She's like, it is.
Yeah, and how many states yet don't have any kind of legalization? Because I think I hear that many tiny little violins that are playing just for you, saying, we feel your pain, good sir.
These are first world problems. Yeah.
Yes.
This gold bar is dusty.
Yeah.
Give me a clean one, sir.
You're in there with your monocle falling out, going, what do you mean you can't reserve my parking spot anymore?
Yeah. It's true. Hit my legal weed, though, now.
I mean, it'll settle down, I'm sure. I go to recreational places. They're not always jumping. I tend to time my visits on off hours because you go, you try and hit them up at like 7 o'clock on a Friday night, and you're going to be there an hour and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's something to what she was saying too. It sounds like they did not hire for or anticipate the amount of business they were going to get going recreational.
I don't know what to say to that because, like, how could you not?
Yeah, well, that's just bad management.
Well, right. Like,
dude, I'm saying it was like 3:30 on a Tuesday, and this place was jamming. Like, I figured 3:30 on a Tuesday, I should be in and out. Oh no,
that's telling me that place was probably serving what was previously a desert.
Oh, for sure. It's in Macomb County, and it's not on 8 Mile. Absolutely.
Yeah, people had to go to the city to get their shit before this.
I just was glad there's a place I'd just put less miles on my car.
They had to go down where they filmed that Eminem movie, you know?
I just like it because it's 2 exits closer, and I have a lease with low mileage. So cool, less miles on my car. And if you want to be honest about it, their presentation's a lot better. Like, it is, like we've talked about, it's an experience, right? It's all about how you feel, right? I like this place. It's clean, it's neat, the presentation's good, the prices are good, the people are friendly. Boom, in a freeway exit right there, perfect situation. So shout out too, and I guess it's now the House of Dank in Warren. What up? It used to be Clinic Cannabis. Now you're the House of Dank.
Oh, they had a name change too?
Yeah, I'm guessing they got bought. Or maybe it's something to do with who knows. It seems like House of Dank around here is becoming a thing.
It might have been easier for them to, like, rebrand and start a new LLC.
Oh, it's another
to get a recreational license rather than try and convert a medical to recreational.
Oh no, it's a place that already exists. There's like one on Gratiot. There's one on the west side. So maybe they just straight up got bought.
They're just swallowing up, yeah.
Hey, whatever. I'm just if the trend in Macomb County is going to now start being dispensaries closer to my house, I'm all for it. Because driving down to the D, well, for me where I live, I had to go south and west because the city of Detroit did something stupid in like 2018 that said dispensaries can't be anywhere that isn't industrial. So all the things that were closer to my house got shut down because they weren't in industrial zones. Because we're at least, I could shoot down to Grosse Pointe-ish and hit up dispensaries. But nope, having to go out to fucking Warren, fuck that shit.
Dispensaries should be popping up all over the place, like vaccine distribution.
Right?
If only. I got my first shot. I got my first of the mod, of the Moderna shot, so I'm a mod.
Yeah.
Yep. So that means I hate the Pfizer people. We're at war with them. We're like, Moderna's better.
I mean, if you want to roll with the less efficacy shot, I mean, that's your decision.
Oh, by not even a full percentage point.
I know, right?
At least I'm not like those J&J losers.
Yeah, right. Those J&J losers who can't even get it done in the 90s.
Right.
If I ever get the J&J shot, I'm keeping my mask. I'm just saying it. But also, we're giving a J&J shot. Isn't a J&J shot like the efficacy of most shots that we get?
Yeah, it's going to protect you in the end just as well.
Is it just as effective as the flu shot and all your other vaccines that you get when you're kids? Like
it's 100% effective. At least that's shown to be 100% effective so far of keeping your ass out of the hospital.
Yeah.
So that's the important factor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like if I get it's going to turn into the flu, right? Like, you got coronavirus, you just stay home for...
It may.
For a week,
yeah.
And then you go back to work.
Yep. And being hospitalized would be an extreme case and a rarity.
Like it is with the flu now. Like, if you go to the hospital with the flu, you got a fucked up flu.
I think that's the idea, yeah. Or who knows? I mean, the thing about the flu and cold is that it never reached levels dangerous enough for us to take these kind of drastic actions that it took to develop these vaccines. So now that we're focused on getting rid of coronavirus, maybe we actually will just follow through on it and do the same for flu and cold finally. I don't know. But
I think the thing with the coronavirus is it doesn't spread it spreads a lot quicker than the flu and the cold.
Right, yeah. I know there's differences, and I'm oversimplifying it. Uh-oh.
Yeah, right? Uh-oh. Had to sneeze three times in a row.
Definitely relieved to get my first shot. I had a bad. I don't want to say a bad reaction. A bad reaction sounds like you had an allergic reaction to it. I experienced some of the symptoms that they said were that one might be likely to experience. Not all of them, though. One thing that they didn't talk about is excessive farting.
What?
That was the first thing that popped up.
Coronavirus
I didn't
vaccine
feel anything at first. I went and got my shot, and I felt great. They make you wait for 15 minutes and they monitor you in the room. And I was like, yeah, I'm good. And they made my second appointment. They sent me off, drove home, felt great, stopped at Taco Bell, got 5 bean burritos, ate all those, and then just started farting like crazy. I was like, this fucking vaccine is making me fart like crazy. Why didn't they warn me about this?
And then you remembered you ate 5 bean burritos?
Oh, you think it's the burritos?
It's possible.
I don't know. No, I had fever. That was, I haven't had a fever that bad in quite some time. And boy, did I have some weird dreams. I had a dream talking to somebody that it was some beefy dude with like kind of long hair, right? And this is like the dumbest dream ever.
Like that from the Righteous Gemstones?
I've been growing my hair out. I've been taking the quarantine as an opportunity to grow my hair back out and see how long I want to get it. I've had pretty long hair before, and I kind of miss it. I've kept it quite short in recent years.
When's the last time you got a haircut?
Well, that's tricky because a professional haircut, 5 years. Cutting my own hair, I've hacked at it here and there. Doing a full-on, like, shaving the whole head was probably 8 months ago. So I haven't really cut it much since then.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's getting I have to slick it back so it just doesn't fall down in my face. And so I have like that. I have like what do you want to call it? Kind of have an American Psycho going on right now with a little bit of like Huey Lewis and the News ducktail in the back, or it flips up a little bit.
Gotcha.
So it's in a transitionary phase, and I'm looking forward to it when, it's at least shoulder length, and then I think I'll make a decision from there.
Oh, wow.
All that to establish that I had this weird dream where I was talking to this guy who had shoulder length hair, and so I remember I'm kind of standing up and I'm looking down at this person as he's talking. He's like working on something, and this guy looks like fucking Thor. This like big beefy dude, and he's got shoulder length hair, and he's talking about, he says to me something like, your hair is looking decent. It's starting to get long. And I'm like, yeah, I'm almost catching up with you though. And he's like, oh, you think so? And he kind of turns his head fully towards me so I can see his hair is not shoulder length. It's just kind of spilling off to one side, and it really goes all the way down to his ass. And it has this big, long, luscious curl to it. And this blonde hair that he has is like turning different colors as it goes into the spiral. It's turning like pink and purple and blue and green. It's all psychedelic. And I didn't remember the dream when I woke up. I just, at some point when I was awake, I looked in the mirror and I looked at my hair and I thought of that dream, and I could not stop laughing at what a ridiculous dream that was.
Sounds like this guy was like right out of Metalocalypse. Oh yeah,
looks
at my hairs.
Yeah.
That show still even on? Does Adult Swim still even exist?
I think they officially ended it. My daughter and I, my youngest, have been watching Metalocalypse. 2 shows that were on Adult Swim actually that we've revisited that she absolutely loves: Metalocalypse and The Mighty Boosh.
The Mighty Boosh. I recall that being a thing.
Yeah, that was a thing for a while. I think it still holds up. If you're a fan of zany British comedy, especially good duos.
I think that's something that I always like. All right, I'm out.
British comedy has kept the art of the comedy duo alive. I mean, it's done horribly on stand-up. British comedy still doesn't seem to understand. I mean, they do better one-man shows, but actual just stand-up bits, they never work for me. But a good comedy duo, that's always pretty good. You got the Peep Show guys. They have their meme or be the baddies.
I'm looking at
what are those two dudes?
I don't remember. I'm looking at pictures of these guys. Yeah, this is definitely something I always flipped off when it came on. I was not into this show.
Or what's his name? The house dude.
Hugh Laurie?
Yeah. Hugh Laurie used to be in a comedy duo with Stephen Fry.
That's right. I always forget about that.
And there's what is the name? They do a series that's based on the P.G. Wodehouse books. It's about like some bumbling aristocrat and his butler. And these stories are like the progenitor of the premise that we would always see in like Inspector Gadget, right? You'd have the person that got all the respect and the notoriety, but was always fucking things up. But they had somebody behind the scenes that was actually pulling the strings on everything and making sure that everything ran smooth, right? So Inspector Gadget had Penny and the dog that were actually solving the crimes, and he was just bumbling his way through. And in the Woodhouse books, it's what's the name of it? He has his butler that's like always, behind the scenes arranging everything, and even when the guy his master or whatever fucks up, like the butler has already thought of a way that he already predicted it and was like, "Don't worry, I've taken care of the whole thing." Anyway, what comedy duos? I was going somewhere else. I got to wind my way back. We were talking about comedy duos. We were talking about
Adult Swim,
Metalocalypse, The Hair, The Dream. Yeah, I don't know. Wherever that path branched off to, I think it's lost now.
It's all right.
Oh,
that's how it goes on a show where you smoke weed.
Oh, I watched a bunch of things while I was down from the shot. It wasn't consistent. It was like up and down. I would felt great one day and then it would smack me down again. But I took that opportunity to watch Nomadland, which it's a slow movie, not everyone's cup of tea, but goddamn it, I loved it. But I mean, honestly, you could told me that the footage is mostly just Frances McDormand shitting into a bucket. I'd be like, all right, I'm game. I'll watch her do pretty much anything, and she pretty much does everything in this one.
She was going to have an inclusion rider on all of her films going forward. Can we investigate this? Did that happen on this movie?
What was the inclusion
her
rider?
speech?
Some sort of minority support or a number of women, or
when she won her Oscar, she said that going forward, and every project that she did was going to have an inclusion rider on it. Just curious to see if that panned out.
I could not tell you.
Like forensic analysis of the crew of this movie.
Well, I can't imagine why it wouldn't, because she pretty much has her pick of what she wants to do. It's not like she's trying to. I mean, I'm sure if she was like, I want to be the next Iron Man, Mara would be like, maybe not.
Well, when she said that, I was like, you're speaking like someone who is at the point in their career where they can pick and choose what they want.
Yes.
Like someone who just moved out to fucking Hollywood. They're taking whatever gig they're getting.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
So I watched that. I finally watched, oh God, what was the Sorry to Bother You? Is that what it was called? Oh, I just want to make sure I get it right.
Yeah, the guy who works at the
yes, Lakeith Stanfield,
the telemarketing company.
Yep.
We made it like a half episode in, and we lost interest.
Boots Riley. I don't remember seeing Forrest Whitaker. Why is he credited? Oh, I'm sorry. That's produced by. No, I was like, he wasn't in it. Terry Crews was in it, though. I really loved both movies. So I loved Nomadland and I love Sorry to Bother You. The only reason I'm pairing those two is they do kind of go together. They're a modern story about the American worker, told from two very different viewpoints. And, well, I for that matter, I don't even know that Nomadland has a viewpoint. You know, I know it kind of comes across as like this is a story about a horrible tragedy and what we're doing to our people in America, Nomadland, that is. You know, because it's somebody who's like, she's got legitimate jobs of like working at Amazon and stuff like that, but still lives out of a van. But it's not that. Like, I don't want to spoil anything about it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but there are scenes in there. There's multiple times where people are like, I have a guest house. And, you know, the character that Frances McDormand is playing she's out in her van because the life that she knew is gone, right? It's not about having a house or not. Mm-hmm. There's other things going on. So, and it's not a comment on homelessness in America. It is about the American worker, but it's not. I don't think it's a story that most people think it is going into it.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
If we go to page 11 in the presentation, you'll see that. You'll see we're on target to meet our quarterly.
Some things never change, like nobody can resist popping plastic bubbles. And Geico saving folks lots of money on their car insurance.
As I was saying, we're on target to meet. Excuse me, Miss Hansen.
Sorry, almost done.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
If you like more, then check out the Dunkin' Snackin' and More menu. Now with even more to snackify you. Like our new grilled cheese melts, melty white cheddar and American cheese on toasty sourdough. Or try one with savory Black Forest ham. But there's more, like stuffed bagel minis, sweet black pepper snack and bacon, croissant stuffers, and delicious golden hash browns. Enjoy them with a refreshing iced coffee. The Dunkin' Snackin' and More menu. So much to snackify you. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer.
It's a new season at Stop & Shop, and we're making the most of it with a tribute to the outdoors. Find fresh produce, organic goodies, and plant-based ingredients throughout our stores, or order ahead for delivery or pickup. Get all you need for a fresh start to spring at stopandshop.com.
To show you how easy it is to file a claim with Geico, we hired fitness celebrity Billy Blanks.
Okay, everybody, our car just got a broken windshield. How about we blow off some steam? Now punch, now kick.
Mr. Blanks, there's no need to be stressed. Geico makes it easy to file a claim online, on the app, or over the phone.
Yeah, but what if I never hear back? That's going to make me want to go jab and jab.
Nope. Your Geico claims team is always there for you.
Okay, do I still get my post-workout protein shake?
Sure, Billy. Geico, great service without all the drama.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's.
ChristopherMedia.net. The Weedsman Podcast.
And Sorry to Bother You is another story. It's about this is a story about a guy who is working dead end jobs like everybody else, and then actually gets a chance to get promoted and be one of the big dogs, and how that changes his relationships with everyone else, how it changes his own thinking. And I just thought it was really fun. It's very surrealistic. You know, the whole white guy voice thing. They get Patton Oswalt, David Cross, somebody else that I recognized. Who was the third one?
Patton Oswalt, David Cross. It's got to be. They sound very similar, so it's got to be somebody who sounds like them.
No, there was three guys that were doing the white voices. That's part of it is so Danny Glover, his character teaches so he teaches Lakeith Stanfield's character how to do the white voice, and then he starts talking like Patton Oswalt, and so Lakeith Stanfield's white voice is David Cross, and then there's somebody else that was just like perfect. It was like another kind of nasally white comedian that was like just perfect casting, and I can't remember who it was. I watched Godzilla versus King Kong. I should say, I didn't just watch Godzilla versus King Kong. I watched Godzilla, then I watched Kong Skull Island, then I watched Godzilla versus King Kong.
Damn.
Me and my youngest kid watched 6 hours plus of monster movies in one day.
Is that good for you?
Felt all right.
Were you stomping around the house?
It was fun.
Breaking things?
And you know what? So the first Godzilla movie, the first of the new series, the one that had Bryan Cranston in it. Ain't
he only in it for like 10 minutes?
No, not. Well, I don't know. Maybe if you added up all of his footage, it might be only 10 minutes. He's in the first third of the film.
That's what I heard. He's not in the whole movie.
Yeah. Well, that kind of mimics. There's like a family through line in the Godzilla movies too.
Like, weren't they?
It's kind of this relationship is kind of this attachment to the characters is like passed down. So it kind of follows. I see
weren't they hopping
going.
on his heat at the time? No, wasn't he coming off a Breaking Bad ending?
I think that was one of the bigger. That was like the biggest thing that he was doing since being Walter White. Yeah.
So it was like, hey, look, Bryan Cranston, even though he's not in the whole movie.
It was a bit of a bait and switch. Yeah, I mean, you expect him to kind of carry through the movie, and if he's going to die, do it at the end. But no, Bryan Cranston's character. His wife dies in the first scene. Then it moves quickly through like a decade or more, and he like goes crazy and gets cancer and dies. And then you really follow his kid through the rest of the movie.
He's like, get Godzilla for me.
There's a lot to like about that movie. The way that they handled the monster, like a traditional monster movie, didn't give you the big battle scenes early on. It was a slow reveal. They had accessory monsters in there for Godzilla to fight that, they could introduce earlier and give us some time with, monsters fucking up the planet, but still do that in a way where like, it's a while before you get that big full reveal of Godzilla doing his thing.
Did this
and
version...
when he...
No, go ahead.
And when he finally does it, it works really well. But I'm still talking about the first Godzilla movie. This is years ago.
So did this version have a Sean Puffy Combs and Jimmy Page mashup? Like the 1998 piece of shit?
No.
Remember that one? They didn't make it... What? Do they just like... Is that kind of like the... you know how the Marvel Universe kind of disavows one of the Hulk movies? Does the Godzilla universe do that with that movie?
Yes. The Matthew Broderick one?
Yes.
No way.
Let's pretend this one didn't...
That is not canon.
This one didn't happen. Like, which Hulk movie do they do that with? Is it the Ed Norton one or the It's the Ed Norton one, right? Because Ruffalo's the Hulk.
Well, no, it was like Ruffalo hasn't done a solo movie, so it was Ed Norton and Eric Bana.
I know one of them. They're like, no, we choose to ignore this one. Which one is that?
Well, that would be I think it's the Eric Bana one, because the Ed Norton one was done by Universal, and that was kind of so the contract with Universal is that Marvel can use the Hulk as a character, but they can't produce any solo. Any solo Hulk movies have to be produced by Universal. And so that's why they haven't done any solo ones since.
Yeah, okay,
So, I mean, technically that Universal movie, it kind of ties into the Hulk universe, or the Marvel universe, I should say.
So that 98 Godzilla movie, like, what were they thinking? Like, just look, remember how he looked? Like, it looked like it was like, I get it. He's always looked like a dinosaur. But they really tried to make him look like a dinosaur in 1998.
They were like, hey, the kids want a slimmer, more agile Godzilla that looks like he could break dance.
What if Godzilla was shredded?
Yeah. And laid eggs.
Yeah. Which, yeah. So, all right. So Godzilla versus Kong.
So
word of mouth on this seems to be
I
pretty
watched Godzilla. I watched Kong. I should say about Kong Skull Island. That movie still holds up. It's the best out of any of the new monster movies that Universal has done, and it's a blast. I'd highly recommend. If you haven't seen the new Kong movie, it is really, really fun. There's a lot of elements from both, certainly being a Godzilla versus King Kong movie in the new one, but it needs a little bit of a human story. I mean, that's not much. It doesn't need to be deep, but that is what makes both the Godzilla and Kong Skull Island work for me. Those movies work because there is a human story to carry us through. And they just blow right past all that shit. They blow past everything. I mean, any kind of explanation. Like, I don't need a believable explanation for why there's apparently what looks to be sunlight in the center of the earth. I just need you to acknowledge it, right? I just need you to have one line where, the True Blood guy looks out the porthole and goes, well, you see, sunlight reaches us by reflecting off of the stalactites or some kind of bullshit, right? Just acknowledge that you put a sun in the middle of fucking Earth, because that's what you did. There's a fucking sun in the middle of Earth, and they don't even acknowledge it. They don't say anything about it.
In what movie?
In this one.
The new one?
In the new one. There's a hollow Earth. That's part of the plot, is that there's a hollow Earth, and they have to believe that there's some kind of secret in the hollow Earth that's going to solve some kind of Godzilla problem or something, but they need King Kong's help. And so they enlist King Kong to go down.
All of a sudden it's hollow? Or they found a planet that's...
Our Earth. They go down. That's where all these monsters come from the hollow Earth. So they go down into the Earth, and there's this there's a whole structure inside the center of the Earth, like where one part of it is upside down.
And it breeds monsters?
Gravity even shifts
it's a monster
midway
maker?
through. And down there's what looks to be sunlight streaming through mountains, both hanging from the ceiling and growing up from the bottom. And I'm like, what is the light? Just show me what is illuminating this underworld. I mean, they could have went with bioluminescence and just had like a bunch of jellyfish-looking things, or it could have all been lit by magma. But no, it was like bright blue skies.
It's the Earth's core. That's what all the books tell you, right? It's not a molten center. It's sunlight and mountains. And it gives you monsters.
And I don't need a full, I don't...
Yeah, just make up a name for it.
Just make up a name for that shit and give my human characters in the story just a little bit of motivation. Why are they so interested in monsters? Is there some personal connection that's driving them? Just a little. It doesn't take much.
It doesn't even have to be creative. Like, everything seems to always go back to Star Wars. But I bet you when they were in the writer's room for Star Wars, like, man, what is going to be the name of this force that we described that, that they can use, and it's their power, and it ties everything together? How about we just call it the Force? There you go.
Right. In Kong Skull Island, they send in, so I won't explain the whole plot, but basically there's a mission that's led to the island to see if they can find King Kong, but only the few people that work for the Monarch, the organization that kind of monitors all these monsters all over the planet, know what they're actually looking for, and they have a military escort. So when they come across King Kong, it's a surprise to the rest of the military escort. And they attack it. They lose like 2 or 3 helicopters and multiple men, and Sam Jackson is whatever his rank is. He's in charge of, the military guys, right?
Tired of these motherfucking Kongs on this motherfucking island.
Yeah, and so he's pissed. This fucking ape took down his guy, so he is irrationally driven to pursue this thing to the death. Does it make sense? No. A rational person would have said, get me the fuck off this island. I don't even ever want to see another monkey again, much less one that's like 100 feet tall. But that's all I need. Like, give me a human character with a little motivation. I understand his motivation perfectly. It took down his guys. He's going to take it down out of principle. It's not about getting out of there and calling in for an airstrike. He's going to take this thing down, right?
By the way, all the sophisticated equipment we got nowadays, we wouldn't see a 100-foot monkey.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I don't know.
Is he wearing a stealth invisibility? Like, has he got infrared sensors himself?
Or even John Goodman's character. I mean, real thin, but it doesn't need to be.
Oh, wow. But star power. You said John Goodman, Sam Jack. Who else is in this thing?
This is Kong Skull Island. This is the best of the movies. None of these actors appear in the new one.
Gotcha.
But John Goodman's character, he's the guy who works for Monarch, who is chasing this thing down, and everyone's calling him a crackpot. So his motivation is he's been pursuing this his entire life. Everyone thinks he's crazy. Now he's finally discovered the thing that everyone's laughed at him for. All he has to do is survive it and get back home so he can get his recognition. Not original in the least, but that's all you need.
You know his motivation.
You understand his motivation. So now you feel for him. So now when he actually gets eaten by the monkey, you're like, oh, fuck. That sucks. That guy.
Spoiler alert.
Right. Like he could have, like, it makes a difference to you. Like, I did not want to see that guy get eaten because I wanted to see him get home and get his accolades finally or whatever. But when you pave over all that, and look, the monsters were fun. It was a great fun time. The monsters punched each other a lot, and they did it sometimes on an aircraft carrier, sometimes on top of buildings, sometimes in the water. They were all over the place, man. It was like watching a fun wrestling match. And there was zero plot and negative amounts of science. Like, I think that movie actually set science back a little bit. Not a huge amount.
What?
But I think it might have actually set science back just a fraction.
It is a movie about a giant lizard and a giant ape. So I'm not sure. Dumb. I think the scientific community is safe. I think we're already suspending disbelief if we're willing to sit.
Neil deGrasse Tyson saw it and he said, I. And someone said, oh shit, we got to reboot Neil.
Yeah. Neil forgot to suspend his disbelief because it's a movie about a giant ape and a giant lizard. So what's going on with reefer?
With reefer, with weed, with cannabis, with all of it. Good things, I guess, right? New York. Cuomo signed the bill.
Oh man, weed shops in Times Square, that shit's coming.
As of a week ago, when we're recording this already, that New York has become on its way to becoming the 15th state to legalize recreational cannabis.
They kind of had to, but there you go. There's your two biggest, or actually your three biggest cities now have legal cannabis. L.A., New York, Chicago. Or New York, L.A., Chicago. Whichever. It's top three markets of everything in this country.
One man in the Big Apple celebrated by smoking pot in front of two New York police officers. It says caught on camera.
Wait. Talk about a group of cops who weren't going to do shit before anyway. After last summer, a lot of New York City cops were like, yeah, fuck it. You're not in danger. I'm not doing anything.
All right, there you go. See if you can get this video to play.
Yeah, I see it. But the article does bring out a couple good points. Because we've been doing this show for 7 years. He's in public. Can't do it in public. He's inside. He's in a restaurant or some type of public establishment. Can't do it there either. Like, there are restrictions on it. And I would also point out, like, the way the law works, I don't think when Cuomo signed it, it meant that day. It probably means as of a date. Like,
no, absolutely right.
Like, when we voted it in Michigan, it wasn't the next day. It was as of, like, January 1st the following year. I mean, I get the symbolism of what this dude's doing.
I get it, too, but this guy was totally being a dick.
Yeah.
Like, even in full legalization, I would say this guy's being a dick.
Like, it is legal in the state of Michigan. It's legal in the city of Detroit. If I have, well, I guess we're back to suspending disbelief. But if I go into the city of Detroit and I'm puffing on a blunt right in front of a Detroit cop, he's probably going to tell me to put that out or arrest me for public consumption. It's like alcohol. You can't just drink a beer out in public.
Well, you're white, so I'll point you to the freeway, most likely.
Right.
He's like, 94 isn't that way.
It's a bad example using the city of Detroit. But it's like booze, right? You can't just walk out in public swigging off a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Hello. And the NYPD did put out a memo within days saying that with regard to recently passed state legislation that legalized the recreational use of marijuana, uniformed and civilian members of the service are reminded that the use of marijuana is still strictly prohibited. Also saying all existing patrol guide procedures regarding its prohibition as well as drug screening procedures remain in effect.
Well, yeah, it's what we've been dealing with here in Michigan. Yeah, I dealt with it when I was looking for work. Your job can still tell you can't smoke pot. So welcome to the minefield, New York, because it is one, and it can be a tightrope. But hey, legal weed.
Yeah, and there's they've got a lot of work to do. New York does, because undoing a lot of the unjust sentences and lingering records that this unfair law has, the burden that this unfair law has put upon the people of New York more so than other places. I mean, this is where mandatory minimums originated. It was fucking New York, right, that gave Joe Biden the idea to start instituting the harsh drug penalties federally. So there's a long history of people that have been fucked over by this law and are still being fucked over. They're saying it's going to take up to 2 years for them to fully go through and expunge all these crimes and wipe all these records clean of minor possessions and all this.
It take 2 years. You do it with a stroke of a pen. You do it in 2 days.
Well, no, but that, the governor did that part with the pen, but there's the actual legwork of all of it. You can't, I don't even know if they have a computer program that just says, erase all drug-related crimes, but you can't even do that, right? You have to go through and say, well, we don't want to, it's not all drug-related crimes, because just because we make weed legal doesn't mean this guy who was trying to ship in a ton of cannabis from out of state goes free. So there are limits to that. And they do have to decide on, in most cases, on a case-by-case basis, what to do with that person. Some of it might just be pretty cut and dry, like, hey, this guy's got, a cannabis arrest for having a gram on him from 1997 hanging over his head this whole time, and they just wipe that out. But there's no AI. There's no AI that is set up to do that. Somebody has to look at that and make a decision. So, and there's a lot of cases. So I can understand why it takes 2 years to undo that mess.
Well, if you can figure it out, Cuomo, it's a lot. It'll be another good thing. People out there talking about you. You need everything you can right now.
Yeah. So with New York, I mean, that's a big domino that kind of focuses our attention back to the federal government. Like, well, what are you going to do about it now? New York and California? Are you sure you don't want to say something?
Well, it's almost all in New England, too. Maine, Massachusetts, Vermont, now New York. All you need left are New Hampshire and Rhode Island, and that's all New England, and Connecticut, and that's all New England. And at this point, Connecticut, you're surrounded, so it's a matter of time for you.
But federally, still no word from the White House on cannabis. But Chuck Schumer says that they're planning on moving forward regardless of what the White House does.
Yeah, because I saw something today that said, Vice President said, it's not really a priority for Joe right now.
Yeah, and
which I'm guessing that means he still wants it to be illegal, but the tide has turned, and he's probably, I don't want it. It's a stalling tactic. Like, things are changing, and he doesn't like it. So that's like this. That's what I envision is happening.
He should have given that to Buttigieg.
Or give that to Harris. He's giving her all the shit assignments. Give this one to her.
She might not be the best person for legalization.
Yeah.
But yeah, Schumer is saying that he wants to, his quote is, I want to make my arguments to him, to Biden, he's referring to, as many other advocates will, but at some point we're going to move forward, period. Goes on to say the legalization of states worked out remarkably well. They were a great success. The parade of horribles never came about, and people got more freedom.
Yeah, I mean, we are, if you think about it, next year is 10 years since Colorado voted it in. They voted it in 2012, and then it started, opening up in 2013, 2014?
Mm-hmm. But I like the freedom angle. I mean, people don't talk enough about that. I think that should really be pressed, because that's something that I think most Americans can agree on, is that the more that the state makes laws that are about constraining the freedoms of people, the worse off we are as a country.
Yeah, it's like, look, we all did something as adults, and everything seems to still be going fine. Look at that. People being allowed to make their own choices.
Yes, personal responsibility should really be pushed on this.
You kids in high school, you motherfuckers. You're never going to know the shit we had to do. You're never going to have to do the weed man shuffle. You're not, good for you, but at the same time, you sons of bitches, you'll never know the struggles we had. Remember just being out? I can't tell you the last time I was out.
Not being able to find shit?
Yeah, being out. You smoked all your roaches. You went through all the crumbs in all your empty bags. Remember? Yeah, back in my day, we were out of weed, and we hated it. That's how I feel. Like, yeah, I haven't been out in God in years. I think the last time we were close to being out was when shit got real squirrely at the end of 2018. And that was if I would have had a weed man, I'd have been fine. That was when things got crazy in the dispensaries.
Right. Yeah, you were already sucked into the whole medical dispensary thing, so you didn't have any current contacts.
Yeah. But also, I did put it on our social media this week. Chuck says a lot of things. We'll see how far this one goes. But it is the opportune time to do it. Democrats have Congress. You could pass whatever you need to in both houses. That dog agrees.
Yeah. Yeah, I think also, though, that Chuck he seems like he's got a good record on cannabis, right? He's not somebody who is flip-flopping on it or.
Yeah, there's no, old footage of Chuck Schumer railing against cannabis.
Yeah, he doesn't have to overcome the things that Biden and Harris both have to. They both have a horrible record on drug prosecution.
Yeah, he wrote the crime bill and she enforced it.
And honestly, if I didn't believe that this was a different party that they're working for now, and that people like both Biden and Harris, despite their history with drug prosecution, it would be harder to vote for them, honestly. But I didn't believe that voting for either one of them means that we go back to draconian laws. I'm like, nah, that ship has sailed.
Yeah,
you can't unwind that. And yeah,
dude, just all I gotta say is more states voted to become legal under the worst president ever. It still happened.
Right.
If we didn't roll back during that time, it ain't happening. Like, Michigan became legal under Trump. Nothing happened. A few other states became legal under Trump. Nothing. The weed train kept rolling.
Remember being freaked out about the shit that Sessions was saying about it?
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of his party even was like, just shut up about that. That shit ain't flying no more.
Yeah, the rest of his party was like, dude, that was 20 years ago. It's over. Congratulations, Lebowski. The bums lost. It's more like the bums won. Nope. The stoners won. Sorry, Jeff. Shut up. Shut up, smoke this, Jeff. Calm down.
Yep. So it's no longer even an issue about, like, I'm dead set against it. It's just not worth it for me to stick my neck out to try and push for legal cannabis.
Well,
that's the only thing that's really holding it back from getting it done federally. Brave but doing nothing.
No one wants to be the first one through the door.
Right.
Someone will be. Someone will nut up in some very blue state.
Well, if the federal government doesn't do something about it in the next 2 years, I predict that Trump is going to be running again in 2024, and he's going to be making that an issue that he runs on.
Right? Still don't understand why no candidate will do it. You want to drive youth to the polls? That's what Bill Maher's been screaming that for years.
Kids like drugs.
It's true. That's just science. Slow weed week. It is. As a person who's been posting on social media every day, this week's been a little tough. when I do my Google search for cannabis stories, it's like, really? No, can't do that. No, oh, god damn.
Well, the New York stuff has just been dominating the news.
Yeah,
that is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not really much to talk about. You know, we've talked about what it's going to look like. We know we won't see it for a little while, and the rest is just let's wait and see how much they can fuck this up in the next few years.
Right. All right. So on that note, follow us on Twitter at TheWeedsman420. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram at The Weedsman Podcast. Go to ChristopherMedia.net. Click on the Amazon banner. Click on the PayPal banners if you want to help us out. And then listen to us everywhere. It's the new shorthand. Anywhere there is a podcast, you can find us. We will never limit how many ears can hear us because we want you to hear us. Please rate us and review us wherever you listen to us because it helps new people find us. And stay high.
Stay high.
Geico presents Motorcycle Word of the Day. Today's word is gremlin. Is a gremlin an unknown and persistent mechanical issue? Or is it something large that gets caught in your teeth when you ride with your mouth open? As in...
Man, I gotta stop singing 80s power ballads when I ride. Ugh, keep getting gremlins in my teeth. See?
Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Better sleep means a better you. That's why Mattress Firm came up with the Rest Assured promise, featuring the best mattresses from America's best mattress brands. Like the Tempur-Breeze collection, available now, with a $300 instant gift good towards your choice of sleep accessories. Visit with our sleep experts in-store, online, or by phone to find the right bed for you. Only at Mattress Firm, America's #1 Tempur-Pedic retailer. Offer valid with qualifying purchase. Restrictions apply. Valid at participating locations only. For offer details, visit mattressfirm.com/sale.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.